Come, let us explore spiritual bypassing versus real non-dual meditation. Together, let us relaxingly recite. It's not our fault. We've only been exposed to weak-minded teachers and authors who could not instruct themselves out of a wet paper bag. It's not an indictment against our spiritual wisdom, or against our wisdom or spirituality, if the feckless or the elitist could not or would not spell out for us duality as well as its transcendence. Let us begin remedying that with a review. Level 1. Each time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this or the verb noticing or even perception during our inhalation. Our sympathetic nervous system wires us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice, notice per, wrong button again. There we go. Notice perceptions such as sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, and scents. Level 2, we could also spontaneously notice the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. Level 3, we could spontaneously notice many things, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. Level 4, we could spontaneously notice the fundamental duality cited in Buddhism, that we desire some things and dread others. Level 5, we could spontaneously notice a subtle resistance to the actual absence of what we desire, as well as resistance to the mere prospect of its absence. Similarly, we could passively notice the subtle resistance to the actual presence of that which we dread, as well as resistance to the mere possibility of its presence. As we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable FREEBIES, or the three-syllable verb relaxing, or even cessation during our exhalation. Our parasympathetic nervous system is wired to support our physical relaxation and mental release. Whatever dread or desire, glory or grotesquerie, interest or boredom, pleasure or pain, mind or body, external or internal, we might have noticed, has spontaneously noticed during our previous inhalation, thus causing each pole of duality to smack of the same taste of fleeting non-graspability. The great South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna taught of two truths, the conventional and the ultimate. that we notice during our inhalation, that we feel during our relaxing exhalation, respectively. Each being, enlightened or not, is therefore wired to notice duality during each inhalation, and taste of non-duality during each exhalation. This is not an indictment, au contraire, it is necessary. For just as a one-winged bird cannot take to the sky, those who convince themselves they do not perceive the conventional cannot experience nirvana, despite the pseudo-spiritual blatherings of individuals who think themselves Buddhas whilst remaining merely self-important boobs. Let's turn our attention to simple perception. That was a mistake. I should not have put that there. So, okay, so I'm going to hit, here we go. I'm going to hit cut. And I'm going to put this over here in downloads temporarily, hit paste. Try that again. Hit cut, not delete. Let's go over here and hit paste. So weird. Okay, well, so much for that. Well, that's just weird. Oh well, let's try that again. I'm going to put this over here on the corner and come back to it later on if I need it. I don't think I will, but now I know where it is. And let's go over here. There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Let's hit copy. And hit paste. And now let's hit wrap text. Okay, there we go. And now let's get the full effect of the punchline, the visual punchline that is. Those who convince themselves they do not perceive the conventional cannot experience the nirvana, despite the pseudo-spiritual blatherings of individuals who think themselves Buddhas whilst remaining merely self-important boobs. Let's turn our attention to simple perception. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever beauty or ugliness we may have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sight. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever harmony or discord we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sound. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sensation. Did I forget scent? Oh, this is weird. Okay. Well, I'm a little confused right now. Please bear with me. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever beauty or ugliness we may have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sight. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever harmony or discord might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sound. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sensation. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever deliciousness or disgust we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just taste. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever fragrance or foulness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just scent. Now we turn our attention to our inner life. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever happiness or sorrow we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just emotion. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever kindness or cruelty we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just intention. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever cleverness or foolishness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just cognition. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever clarity or dullness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just recollection. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever triumph or defeat we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just imagination. Many teachers rely on the duality of loving virtue and hating non-virtue. How then could we reconcile non-duality with morality? Simple. Every time we notice and relax in harmony with the phases of our breath, we automatically calm the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala and stimulate the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus, setting kindness, which is the essence of morality, on autopilot. Let us turn, oopsie, having some trouble here. Let us turn our attention to a set of four dualities, known as the eight feelings of the world, or loka, vipatti in Pali, or as the eight worldly concerns, asta, loka, dharma in Sanskrit, within the context of the four bases of mindfulness. The circumstantial Dhamma, the physical Kaya, the interpersonal Vedana, and the mental Chitta. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever wealth or lack, safety or peril we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just the circumstances, the circumstantial. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever bliss or pain we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just the physical. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever praise or scorn we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just the interpersonal. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever fame or shame we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just the mental. Liberation from the tyranny of duality could be an effortless and effective process. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Having completed our opening lesson, let us now shift gears. It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, let's play with the latest iteration of a very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. As we go through life, we're given a choice, just like Morpheus gave a choice to Neo. Our choice is simple. There is an autonomic nervous system. Do we compete against the sympathetic and parasympathetic facets, or do we cooperate with them, or do we compete against them by actively focusing and actively analyzing in reliance upon the medial and prefrontal cortex. Now, when we overwork this region, we increase the likelihood of us presenting with symptoms of depression, as well as triggering our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Most of us would not consider that to be a good time. Fortunately, neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of the central nervous system. Case in point, every time we inhale, we have evolved to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of concentration. On the other hand, every time we exhale, we are wired to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, depending upon how you label things. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support physical relaxation and mental release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. Until the next inhalation, the system begins all over again. So here's the trick. How do we cooperate passively? We know about the perils of activism. We know about the perils of indulging our controlling tendencies. How do we cooperate in a distinctly laid-back manner? Simple. All we gotta do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system. And all we gotta do is silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system. That is the essence of Dzogchen. That's the essence of Ati Yoga. That's the essence of the 7 enlightenment factors. It's just that easy. Cooperate. And whatever we experience, externally or internally, simply fuels the process. Whatever hate you notice as we breathe in is released. Not only is it released as we breathe out, but its exhalation calms our amygdala and fuels our anterior cingulate gyrus. Noticing and relaxing make it impossible for us to be a slave of our anxiety and aggression. We might feel them, but they won't control our choices, utterances, or deeds. And that's the difference. That's huge. I love watching dog and cat friendships on YouTube. And sometimes you'll see a senior cat, maybe 5 years old, maybe 10 years old, exposed to a puppy. And it'll take care of the puppy, and it's really beautiful to see. And as the puppy grows into an adult, it'll play good-naturedly with the dog. You can tell it's playing because it's not growling, it's not hissing, it's just playing. And sometimes the cat will sit there and just watch the dog get the zoomies and run around and knock itself in the head and just be fine. And we can be very much like that cat. We can watch our mind get the zoomies without being a slave of that mind. We can watch sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We can watch emotions, intentions, thoughts, imaginings, and recollections, or vice versa. We could observe all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque, without being their slave. Because as we breathe in, we watch. As we breathe out, we relax. And automatically and effortlessly, that's the essence of the path. And so all we need to do is get comfortable with that. Get so comfortable with it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. And we can get comfortable with that in as little as a week. Despite the ravings of elitists who want to pick your pocket and crush your spirit. Let's practice. Let us review the iconography of Kuntu Zangpo Kuntu Zangmo Yabyum. Consider the nudity of Kuntu Zangmo the color of a cumulus cloud. Their nudity reminds us of vulnerability, which is crucial to mindfulness. Consider now her partner, the Kuntu Zangpo, the color of the infinite azure sky, whose hue reminds us that as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. The beauty of this tantric couple reminds us that the highest love is spontaneous, uncontrived, and the fringe benefit of mindfulness and meditation. The freedom the Buddha offers us is the freedom of allowing our choices, utterances, and deeds to flow from love's centered spontaneity that again is the byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The centered spontaneity that is symbolized thusly. The stability with which Kuntu Zangpo sits reminds us of centeredness. The abandon with which Kuntu Zangmo sports reminds us of spontaneity. The key that turns the lock, opening this vault of good fortune, is simply the silent and mental recitation of the demonstrative pronoun this in harmony with each inhalation, and the silent and mental recitation of the one-syllable verb ease in harmony with each exhalation. Together, let us practice right now. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As we exhale, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. This is the easiest way to practice the noticing and relaxation of mindfulness and meditation. That is, the effortless functioning of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tonight's meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.